Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of No Mods Podcast. I'm your host, Jorge Flores. You can reach out to the podcast on Twitter uh, under no underscore MODS009, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at adept underscore apron. And welcome back to another great Monday. Ignore the hat. I like the hat. um, I'm a bit tired, so it might be more of a low energy episode today. But hope you don't mind. I still plan to be pretty engaging and full of life. But on that note, welcome back to another episode. It's another great Monday, and I'm gonna do my best to start this Monday on the right foot. So, man, why am I so brain dead? Damn, forgot what I wanted to follow through on. Wait, no, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, oh man, I'm really brain dead. Okay, una, dos, sí. Let's just start off with what I've made for myself this week. It was a spicy peanut curry. Came out really good, and I actually wrote down a recipe this time. It's pretty much a half tablespoon of coriander, 3 cloves of garlic, 2 serranos, 5 dried chilies, 1 cup of ground peanuts, half an onion, 1 teaspoon of cardamom, half a tablespoon of turmeric, and 2 cloves. And the reason I'm only telling you this is because a lot of recipes that are passed down, even within family recipes, don't have exact quantities. So it's very hard to determine what your I want to say it's hard. If you know how to cook, you can figure it out. Especially if you know the dish. Like, if I told you, oh, go make a marinara sauce, you'd be like, all right, what the fuck do I need? Like, just tomatoes cooked down, as far as I know, and some herbs. And that would be a very simple, like, tomato sauce. Detallito así. And now you're saying, like, well, why the fuck is your curry recipe so, like, that way? Well, it's kind of an amalgamation of a few curries that I've made. And I've noticed there's a bit of level of consistency regarding curries. And no, I'm tired. I'm like running loops right now. Not bad. Um, but I mean, essentially that's what it is. Not gonna lie. The same goes for like a lot of home recipes. Like, pretty sure there's like a few variations of carne con chile, or even like, or just seeing like the wide variety of people switching it up on how to make like a meatball for like a meatball sub. Because I mean, there's a huge difference. Or even when people try to attempt their own Alfredo. Like, I've had a ghetto Alfredo, which was milk, a block of cream cheese, Italian seasoning, and Parmesan. That was an Alfredo, and it's pretty fucking ghetto. But don't knock it till you try it. And going off that, it started reminding me of a few TikToks that I've been watching where I do enjoy people committing themselves to trying something new and trying to follow a recipe. But there's some TikTok recipes that make no sense. And I'm not going to call them out just because it's rude. But if you're not saying season your food in your video, or even YouTube video or TikTok, then add it in there. Because one of the biggest lessons I've learned in my culinary journey is the fact that you need to season your food properly. And the principle pretty much was, you don't forget to wipe your ass, so you shouldn't forget to salt your food. So don't just salt your food like it's a natural instinct for you. Like, it should be deeply ingrained. And even, like, if you're saying, like, oh, I can't have too much salt, then, like, at least you're making the attempt of adding enough for your food to taste amazing. That's the best way to explain it. A little bit of salt goes a long way. Like let's say, like, oh, like, I'm a vegetarian, like, what are you talking about? Well, let's say you get a hot pan, hot skillet, a little bit of oil, throw in some garlic cloves or crushed garlic, fry some garlic up, toss your veggies, and then as soon as you turn off the flame, hit it with or if you got the grinder, hit it twice, and toss it again. Game changer. Like, not gonna lie. And then if you're saying, like, Well, not everything salted. Well, why do you think popcorn's so good, huh? Huh? I mean, I don't know about you. Like, even kettle corn has a little bit of salt. Like, yes, it's got sugar in it, but like, it's got enough salt for it to like. Ooh, kettle corn sounds good right now. Like a nice crunch. Oof. Oy. um, but yeah. Um, but I think picking backing off that, like I did want to share a little bit more about myself. Like what makes me a trusted person in the hospitality industry besides being a chef, and I would say some of my what really inspired me to start cooking was a little bit of how do you say it? Ingenuity, I guess, that I wanted to have in the kitchen. Like I know I'm smart, not to my own, but it's more like it fascinated me enough to pursue it and enjoy it. Like I remember having an epiphany where like I was so tired and like I was just making food like without like overthinking it. Like a small meal for myself, and I ate it and I started dancing. I'm like, "Oh fuck, like this is what I should be making. Like this is what we should all be making. Like food should make you ecstatic. It should make you celebrate. It should make you feel alive." But not gonna lie, yeah. And then the funny thing is that because I'm pretty sure many of us grew up like in an area where it didn't have like much variety in food. That as soon as I started stepping outside of literally like my own home, it was a fucking game changer. Like I I mean I've controlled my eating, but like when I first left my house, I was eating a lot. But then again, I didn't have a car, so it kind of like counterbalanced. But like the amount of amazing food that's out there is baffling. Like I've never had like Hawaiian food, and to me, even though it's very like dense and like rich, it's fucking amazing, dude. Like especially like right now that I'm going to the gym and I'm trying to include more protein, like literally steamed white rice with a seasoned burger patty and a fucking runny eggy yolk, and then you have like a gravy from the burger patty grease. You have no idea how amazing that tastes after like a long day of like working out. And then we want to take it a step back and be like, oh, that's too greasy. Well, like to bring up vegetarians again, I'm starting to notice that on those days where I'm not too sure what to eat, the best thing that keeps me on track is making like a somewhat Mediterranean platter with like a little bit of feta cheese, uh, sliced cucumber, sliced onions, sliced tomatoes, and like a bowl of hummus, and just having some like flatbread or like something. I tend to use tortillas. Leave me alone, all right. And then just making a wrap out of that, and then I had sriracha. I'm not gonna lie, but I had sriracha because I'm conditioned to, because I learned a recipe from a place that I can't name, which a lot of people do enjoy, which was pretty much. No, I'll go ahead and say it. I didn't sign in an MDA for it. Oh, I don't know the quantities, but it's essentially tomato sauce. Or let's say, because I do remember the quantity, not having like a flashback. It was I'm trying to think of a ratio. If the so if you go get like a 16-ounce can of tomato sauce, and you put in like a quarter of a bottle of sriracha, which is hard to find, trust me. But if you find it, you should make the sauce, and then it would be like a teaspoon of cayenne. Mix that up, and that would be like a spicy tomato sauce, which very cheap but very effective in like making a dish delicious, you know. And then and then and then in case you haven't like made your own hummus, like you should make your own hummus. It's really not that hard. You can either do it with the dried garbanzos or the brine garbanzos that come in a can, because that's these garbanzos, the canned garbanzos, is where I learned how to make a hummus. And then I learned to season it this way. And recently, because of all the storms that have been happening, there's been like food drop offs. I've gotten dried garbanzos, and I've been soaking them and boiling them off and like seasoning them. And not gonna lie, it's pretty on par. I have noticed the dried garbanzo does come out a little bit drier, but I mean, or a little bit more grainy. I mean, but and because you haven't made your own hummus, I'll just share like a quick like seasoning for it. Is usually I stick to cumin, coriander seed, like ground, obviously not whole, and then excuse me, salt, tahini, obviously, then I'm missing something. Coriander seed, cumin. Is that all I do? Probably, huh? Seasoning, and obviously like an oil to like incorporate it and make it smooth. And uh, a chef of mine taught me that in order to make your sauce smooth, you should be adding oil, not water. The reason being is because water will eventually separate from your sauce or product, and should be adding enough oil for it to run smoothly. And if you want to put it like in a very like practical way, oil's used as a lubricant, like in general, like even within our bodies, which is why some people recommend fish oil for joints and stuff like that. So adding a little bit more oil to your purees or hummus will be a game changer. It's a little pro tip for me to you. Hope you guys take it. And I'm doing a lot better than I thought. Thank you for your guys' patience. I've just been exhausted. I've been recently, just cause I think it's mostly because I'm cutting back on food. That makes it kind of tricky. And then I've been trying to hit the gym pretty hard, and then I don't know, which is pretty fun. And then I had an epiphany talking to my friend the other day that I realized protein bars are kind of fucking expensive. So like, I'm gonna make it a challenge of mine to try to make my own, which I've already looked into it, and might do it a little bit less than what they recommend. But it all looked like no bake recipes, so it seemed pretty like, which makes sense because most of those protein bars are pretty like, how do you say it? They're pretty tacky and chewy. Which I wonder if you could probably make protein cookies, huh? I mean, they do make protein cookies, but like making them at home so they taste better. But pretty much the recipes is some flour, but mostly like the protein, and then just incorporating whatever like flavoring you want into it, like chocolate chips, honey, and like you just roll it up, put it flat on a sheet tray, and then just let it like cut it, refrigerate it, and then just pull out squares as you need. And I mean, it sounds pretty good to me. I mean, I'll try it out, cause it is true. Some of those flavors are kind of like off, and then they're kind of like I said, it burns a hole in your pocket. So once I figure it out, I'll share it with you guys. And then like a few other ideas, just because I started deviating into like thinking about like possibilities of food, which happens all the time. Which one of the possibilities of food that I try to come up with, because I did say like I did get inspired by ingenuity, which I don't know if you guys know what ceviche is. It's pretty much shrimp or like usually like a whitefish, like soaked in a citrus, because I have had like a sour orange with my shrimp, but I prefer shrimp. So moving forward, we'll talk about the shrimp. So you soak the shrimp preferably overnight, just to make sure that the shrimps have soaked through and there's less bacteria in it. And then it's usually accompanied with a sliced onion, sliced tomato, or diced onion, diced tomato, diced cucumber. And then that's essentially it. Some people add a jalapeno pepper like I do, just to spice it up. And cilantro. I forgot the cilantro. And going back to the ingenuity, one of those days where I wasn't thinking about what I wanted to eat, and I thought it would be a genius idea to make a hot ceviche. So, and I'm going to pass this on to you guys. I hope you guys try it out. It's pretty much hot pan, okay, no, hot pan. I'm trying to process it again. Hot pan, onions, onions. I think it was just onions. Sweat the onions, hit it with diced tomato, and then it would be cilantro and shrimp. But you want to add the shrimp once the juices from the tomato have come out. It's kind of like like a simmering liquid. Hit the shrimp, hit it with salt, and then if you were gonna add jalapenos, you would add it before at the same time. And then once that's going, like the tomatoes will like reduce a little bit more, turn into like a thicker sauce, and the shrimp should be cooked by then. And then that's when you want to hit it with cilantro, and then the cucumber on the side, because I don't remember adding the cucumber to it. So that was pretty much it. It was fucking amazing when I had it. So, and then what am I trying to think of? What was the other thing that I wanted to think of? Cause I've had so many like random ass like food ideas like that hard to keep track. So hopefully, by trying to tell you guys, I keep more track of it. Cause I had it written down the peanut curry recipe till like literally just before I started recording. So I'm really glad I wrote it down, and I'll save it for next time. Which I'm wondering, have I even have other recipes? Hold on, give me a second. Just cause having my notebook again is a fucking game changer. Alright, sorry about that. I accidentally kicked the cable, came unplugged, but I'm back and I'm recording and I'll finish it through. I think it was, I'll figure out the timestamps later. I was just looking through my notebook to see what other food ideas I had, other than the fact that I've written it in multiple pages. I would make myself pancit bihon, which a very lovely person recommended it to me. And to my knowledge, it's a Filipino noodle dish that I've only had once, so I'm very limited on knowing what it is. But I really hope to enjoy it, and I hope you guys cannot hear the dogs, because those motherfuckers are being loud right now. In case you're not aware, just to share a little bit about what's going on outside. The levee pretty much broke near me. I live in California, so I mean, the storms have been fucking wild, and it's just interesting that like I feel like a flood is something that rarely occurs for most people in their lives. So, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to not be in an area that's deeply affected. I do have a few friends that are affected by it, and I hope they're doing well. I'm still staying in contact with them in case they ever need anything. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that, because I mean, the storm that was officially named Pineapple Express, it's been ripping shit up. Like, it hit January, the ground got oversaturated. It's gonna ruin a lot of crops just because like all the farmlands are getting flooded, and I think what they typically do when the streets get flooded is push all the water out to the farmlands, because it's pretty much vacant space and it's dirt, so it'll absorb it eventually. But very unfortunate. Sorry about that. But see, I mean, people get stronger, rebuild. And that's why it's important to start off on the right foot on a Monday. Full circle. But let's focus back on, I remember like going back to like recipes to share, and like I've never written down. If I ever get to like 100 views or like 100 followers, even better, like I'll share my carne asada beer marinade, because I've seen, or like I saw a recipe that stressed me the fuck out on TikTok, which is why I keep saying, like, if the recipe doesn't say salt your food, or like there's not much seasoning, fucking blow it off. And then we'll nitpick it right in a bit, but a beer marinade, personally, should be in a blender with all your ingredients, and that's as far as I'll go, because I'm not going to give away my marinade recipe that easy. You almost had me. I was about to give it, but no way. I think that I remembered. Oh, man. But I gave you the hot ceviche recipe, which, and the idea of I'm coming full circle on that recipe, because now I realized that I found the recipe due to making a tapas dish, which is pretty much like sauteed cherry tomatoes with garlic, kind of artichokes. Get let that season the oil. You hit it with the shrimp. No, wait, hold on. No, it was garlic and the wait, garlic, chopped onion, artichoke. Get that going. Hit it with the tomatoes. Like, and this is all high heat, so it's gonna happen pretty fast. High heat. Once the tomatoes are starting to blister and pop, then you hit it with your shrimp, and then once your shrimp are like 50% cooked, you hit it with harissa paste, which is pretty much like from my understanding, it's like a African seasoning. Specifically, I know it's like a pepper, but I could be wrong. I need to double check on that. But from what I've experienced and looked into, it is or Mediterranean, but it's pretty much like a spicy sauce or like a spicy seasoning. And then you hit it with that, and then serve with like some grilled bread or like some toasted bread. Super clutch. That's, are we trying to have a date at home or like a date night at home? That's a very good dish to execute. Very simple, very easy, and I think showing that you can cook an artichoke and make it presentable is probably the most, like, the hardest flex you can do when you're barely learning how to cook or when people don't think you know how to cook. Because if you can make anybody eat an artichoke, you're pretty much done. You're literally known as a friend or person that knows how to cook within your group, you know, like, hands down. Like, I mean, like, who, like, on top of that, like, who else can make good mushrooms? Like, I don't think most people understand that, like, one, it's perfectly fine if you rinse out your mushrooms. I get it. But you have to let them dry before you let them cook. Because the simple fact that when you're cooking the mushrooms, you're pretty much expelling the moisture out of it, right? So in order for you to get like a good color on your mushrooms, you need a, and I think I'm repeating this from the last episode. I don't know why I hyped myself up for that, but going back to it, let your mushrooms fucking cook. Don't touch them too much, and if you're gonna wet them, make sure they're fully dry before you introduce them to heat. So just putting that out there. Damn. But I did want to touch on too, like, a few like personal notes, and I'm pretty sure it's notes that a lot of other chefs and cooks feel is that, one, like, yes, cooking is fun, but like, I think the most rewarding part is like making food for, one, your coworkers, because everybody's in the same like trench with you, and I'm using trench, not a negative term, but like just the fact that like you're so used to seeing everybody and having hard times with everyone that like you're literally like you're a unit, even if like people don't like each other, don't talk too much, like there's enough respect for you to like make, like, if I'm cooking for myself, I'll have enough for two other people or like whoever asks for some, right? Like, that's just a general courtesy and respect within the industry. And on top of that, you don't really have to feed the front of the house, but I mean, that's your call. If you want to be the saint of the kitchen, then you can. But like, I feel like having that pride that like, oh, my coworker really like my cooking, is a very like strong and like it's a powerful feeling. I don't know how to describe it, because the closest thing I can do is like I don't know if you guys have ever executed a Thanksgiving dinner for your family, or even like a birthday dinner, like something small. Like when you execute that to a T and everybody enjoys it, everybody's enjoying themselves. They even like pull you to the side and be like, what was that recipe? Like, what'd you put in it? Like, I can tell you did this, or like, why does this taste different? Can you explain it to me? Like, hearing those comments of people, of you managing to catch people's curiosity about what they're eating, I think that moment is like, that's what inspires you to continue cooking. And I think I'm not gonna like dabble on it, but I like, and it sounds cheesy because now that I'm thinking about it, there's a lot of like the YouTube people or like the YouTube cooks and chefs, debatable on the term chef, that literally say that like they literally enjoy feeding others, and like I get it, like, well, I mean, and the reason I try to distinguish which ones are chefs or not, because there's some kids out there, and I call them kids because it's fucking churlish as fuck, that their only experience is making plates like on screen. And I get that, like, that's one perspective of it, but that's candy coating the whole situation. Like this right here, me trying to explain like my experiences and like what I've seen is like the real side of the kitchen. Like, how the fuck are you gonna tell me like, oh, I'm gonna fucking make vegan pulled pork using a banana fiber? I'm like, who the fuck is gonna want to eat that? Like, I get it, you're going for like natural ingredients and shit, but like, as far as I know, the banana peel is meant to be inedible. So for you to be digesting that, I wonder how the fuck your gut is, dude. Cause no mames, way. I don't know, but like, if you wanted to do like what's the one mushroom that you can shred? Like, if you wanted to do stuff like that, perfectly fine. If you wanted to substitute tofu for a steak, perfectly fine. Like, I've seen smoked tofu, it looks fucking weird as shit, but like, I get it. Like, you're trying to like change the normal perspective of something, and I get that. That's the whole point of being a chef. You're pushing the boundary. For that, I respect him as a cook and not a chef, because I don't think there's any way for you to execute those dishes outside of your fucking own studio or where the fuck you live, because that shit's fucking wild, dude. And not gonna lie, like, I respect most of the bakers on YouTube and like TikTok, because like anyone can bake, but like being able to distinguish yourself and be in front of that, like, how do you say it, like, just standing out, being bold, making bold moves in order for you to like create an audience is what pretty much gravitates people. And that's why some of these internet chefs are labeling themselves as chefs is for that simple reason. And there are chefs that like I doubt they pull from them, but like, I mean, you can get inspired by anything, right? So I mean, but like I said, I'm not knocking on him. I'm just not going to call him a chef, because that's not a chef. A chef is someone who resembles not necessarily authority within the industry, but like a deep understanding. You can like, I don't know, how do you say it? I heard a very good quote about it, where it's pretty much like a good chef moves in silence, because he's normally observing, he's watching the plates, he's watching his team, he's watching the front of the house, because he has to watch how the food gets handled. Like, it's an operation, and you put those products out. So like, for someone to like, let's say like, not salt the fucking food is a fucking insult, not necessarily to you, but like, going back to the aspect, like, you want people to like want what you created. So for someone to not salt their food or miss a seasoning and it goes out to the table, you're gonna get fucking livid. And like, and not like a Gordon, or like a better example, because I was gonna use Gordon Ramsay. Like, Hell's Kitchen is very dramatized and it's very fun to watch, I will admit that. But like, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen The Bear. Like, I did feel a lot of those episodes, and I have mentioned it in one of my audio episodes. But like, the simple fact that, how do you say it? There's other ways to demonstrate your amount of passion without insulting the other person. And I think creating that like that relationship with your cooks is the most difficult thing, because all the cooks have a different mindset. All your chefs have a different mindset. So to be in unison is fucking beautiful, even for like the day, like, because once like people start feeling that energy of like unity and like execution, it slowly starts building a momentum, and that's what people enjoy. And but that's a very optimistic kitchen, and obviously, like in life, stuff, there's always a wrench getting thrown in there, but that's the joy of being in a team that supports you, because even when shit hits the fan, everybody's there for you. And when someone's in the weeds, someone's behind them to get the person out. And pretty much, I think I'm gonna repeat myself, being in the weeds is pretty much being like it's getting harder to move. Like, you can't see beyond like the other side. Like, you're stuck seeing like this, and like, it's like almost like pretty much a deer in headlights. But they say the weeds. But I mean, oh man, that got me hot. I don't know, but like but I will say, and it does counter how do you say it? Contradict what I just said, but like, like Thomas Keller said, like pretty much, or I'm gonna like chop it up because it is the mantra that I use pretty often, and when you cook, you're caring, because you got to care about the food and you're gonna want to care about the end result, and so like in every step you're caring about something. So at least I hope those kids or people that call themselves chefs on YouTube or on TikTok or on Instagram, they are at least caring about what they're making, but also for the people that are receiving, or like that see these videos and understand, like, yes, there's food alternatives, but like not everybody's meant to be eating those foods. Just to make things clear. And but yeah, like and then on that note, like I guess I'll write down for myself to like try to come up with like other food ideas that's not just like my own cravings, like, and hopefully you guys like give me some feedback so like we can bounce off ideas of each other. Like I want this to be a platform where everybody's trying to come up with like a food recipe or like a concept, or like just let's get the ball rolling. Like I'm pretty sure we can help each other create great recipes, and that's my angle for this. I mean, if you guys can make a better peanut curry, let me know. Like I mostly did this just because I like it fucking spicy, but yeah. And then oh man, dude, that really got me passionate, dude. I didn't expect that to happen. But I did remember writing down one more thing, but I'm starting to blank. And but just to end the podcast on a positive note, next time you guys cook a meal, make sure to season your food, enjoy the moment, and make sure you taste your food. That's probably the hardest thing most people do within their home kitchen, but like I'm pretty sure you can pull it off. If you want, you can grab plastic spoons or just use your regular tablespoons. It's a little bit more to wash, but like you'll notice your food progressively get better if you taste it as you go. So we'll begin with that. And I did notice I was rambling a little bit more about myself in this one, but hopefully you guys either reach out to me on Twitter, reach out to the podcast on Twitter, or you can reach out to me on Instagram. But hope to hear from you guys, because I mean, I'm going to try my best to come up with a dish of the week and share the recipe with you guys. But at the same time, I will share it like in that old school French way where I'm just going to list off ingredients. And if you don't know what it is, then during the episode, I'll try to describe it the best I can. And it's kind of your task to like research it a little bit more and be like, and then just commit, just full force it. You're going to want it to taste delicious, so you should take the time to make it delicious. Not just on the stove, but like up here, like it's got to make sense in your head. Because if this or for people that love to cook, if this isn't satisfied, the food will be very mediocre. You won't be able to taste it because you're blocking your head up here. So on that note, I'm going to try to carb load this week. So I'll try to make up with try to make my own pasta recipe this week, because I've been craving. I leaned in for this one because I'm contemplating it pretty hard. Because last time I had a pasta dish, I did like, what was it called? It's the spicy garlic noodles, or like spaghetti noodles. Shit's clutch. Fuck. And then like with some like shredded beef or corned beef, which don't judge me. At home, I tell you, or family meal, you're allowed to make. You're allowed to use canned foods. Put it there, all right? Don't. It's faster and it's still delicious, all right? And you can still control the sodium, which I mean the salt. So, if you guys have any pasta dishes that I should try besides ghetto Alfredo, just let me know. Just reach out to me on Twitter at no_mods009. You can reach out to me on Instagram at adept_apron. Thank you guys for listening to this week's podcast. Thank you for watching this week's podcast if you're on YouTube. And hope to hear from you guys again. I'm your host, Jorge Flores, and hope you guys have a great rest of your week and a wonderful Monday.